Welcome to the Profit by Design podcast. Today, Dr. Sabrina and I are joined by Caitlin Beaver, our How to Hire the Best Strategist. And we are sharing the one leadership habit that retains A players. And here's the funny thing. So we don't do a lot of prep for these episodes. We just come on and speak from our heart and our expertise. And we have not prepped. And we thought it would be just hilarious to see what the three of us come up with as the one leadership habit that retains A players. And we have this game going. So if one of the three of us says that one leadership habit that's on our mind, we can't repeat it. The next person can't repeat it. So you're really going to get a bonus here on this episode. You're going to get 3 leadership habits. So
accepted.
This is going to be fun. Are you ready to dig in?
I'm going to go last because I'll have to I can come up. I have multiple, so I'm going to have to pick which one I think is the one.
Okay, good. All right. Well, Caitlin, you kick us off. If business owners are tuning in or just tired of having that constant turnover and they want to keep their A players, what's one leadership habit to retain them?
I would say the most overlooked habit that we talk about in How to Hire the Best would be consistent check-ins. So genuinely connecting and asking about wins, challenges, and goals. Typically, we find that with A players, they need that open line of communication, especially if they're in the onboarding phase of your business, because they may not be as confident and comfortable coming up and asking you questions or drawing attention to things where they feel stuck and where they need support. But if you create a space or a container where you're regularly checking in, even if it's just 15 minutes, and I know all the business owners on the other end might be saying, I don't have time for that, but bear with us. We'll get to how to create time for that. This is an opportunity for you to really get to know your A players, and they also have an opportunity to get to know you, and you can build these communication lines that set them up for success for the months and the years to come. And those small, consistent actions, even if it's just 15 minutes, they're going to have a compound effect and help your A players grow into leaders.
I love that, Caitlin. I think because we're talking about retaining A players and the onboarding and the initial year that they are with you is such a critical incubator period. And a lot of times we get busy as business owners and we shortchange the attention we give those A players. So just that check-in time is you're spot on. That's so critical. Okay, Melissa, what is your leadership habit that retains A players?
Okay. So I have to step back for a moment because when we first came on to record the podcast, I saw you in the room and my whole body relaxed. I physically relaxed. And it just felt like my breath of fresh air, my rock, and Mama's here. That's so silly, but that was like what ran through my mind. Your presence is so nurturing and comforting to me. And also things could be going on during the week. And then when I see you, everything's okay. And that's the environment that you've created for us at Tap the Potential. And I just love that. And it doesn't take much. It could be 5 minutes of your time. So I just want to reassure everyone, a lot of times when I'm coaching, I'm hearing business owners say, I'm so stressed about my team. I'm so worried about my team. I'm putting too much on their plate. Are my team members burned out? Just you showing up and letting them hear your voice is enough sometimes. They just want to be connected to you. Okay. So my leadership habit is autonomy. I want to feel like I have a say in the business and the way my department is running, and I want it to be my baby, and I just want to have fun with it and own it. And I love being able to come to the table with ideas and just be able to grow and nurture and develop them. And I'm learning and growing and developing myself. There's some times where I may have ideas that don't work out the way that I thought they would. But man, when I have that opportunity to have those ideas and they flourish and they help grow the business, that is just like the best feeling ever.
I love that. Your excitement and enthusiasm just emanates around the autonomy. And so I want to build on what you just said. My leadership habit that I think is key to retaining A players, and I'm not talking about brand new A players here because Caitlin's already covered that. I'm talking about A players that you've had on your team for several years. It really is saying, run with it. So whatever comes my way from my team, my leadership team, and I say, I want to run this by you. Really, what I'm listening for is, are there challenges that they haven't resolved in what they're running by me? Usually those challenges have been resolved before they're bringing it to me. And so me just saying, run with it, it reinforces that autonomy that Melissa is talking about, because I trust that they are closer to the work than I am. And they know the subtleties and the ins and outs way better than I will ever know the subtleties and the ins and outs of what they're trying to address in the new initiative. So the saying of run with it. And I also want to just let you know that there's a process. Like, you don't just bring an A player in and turn things over and say, run with it. So Caitlin really laid out for you the process of getting to that point. But really, after a year, most A players are going to have thorough knowledge, especially if they have been in our leadership boot camp. They know what their strengths are. They know the sweet spot of the business. They understand profitability, and they understand how to use their strengths to serve the sweet spot and drive the profitability, which is the $10,000 an hour time. And so the best thing we can do is get out of their way. And I also want to bring in what Melissa shared about my presence. Okay. Because this is so significant. We business owners don't put enough attention on ourselves. So being emotionally present is the greatest gift we could give another human being. I am so intentional every single day when I get up. I'm asking, what do I need to do to be at my best today? Because my goodness, I am waking up and the day is packed. From the moment I get up, I've got dogs to walk, animals to feed, a kid to get to school, work, pick up kids, swim team, feed animals, and feed ourselves. It's like, it's constant. And so me thinking about, okay, what do I need? And being intentional to take that time in my day to make sure I'm taking care of myself so that I can show up settled and calm and present, so that we can have a team that feels safe and supported. Because when team members feel safe and supported, the fear is no longer there. They're operating from love. So, right, we always want to be making decisions out of love and abundance and not fear and scarcity. So when I can show up present, it creates emotional safety and security on the team, trust. And then my team members are able to operate at a higher level and come up with these great ideas. They're able to think about their $10,000 an hour activities and how to be more strategic and bring those ideas forward.
I just love this so much. We had a perfect example of this as we started the podcast. I shared with you, Dr. Sabrina, one of our clients. We have 3 tier levels in our Better Business, Better Life coaching program. And typically clients will go from the first tier to the second to the third tier. And we hopped on the call and I said, we have a client that I think is ready to go from tier 1 to tier 3. And I've left you a message about it. And you said, I don't even need that. I just trust you. Mm-hmm. And it made me feel so empowered and excited. And that level of trust and safety just allows me to believe in myself.
Yeah.
On such a higher level. Caitlin, I'm just curious, what are some small actions that you are noticing our business owners taking to support their team members, their A players, into staying?
Well, definitely the one-to-ones. I know that as I say that out loud, there are probably listeners thinking, oh gosh, what does that mean? What does that look like? I don't even have 15 minutes to spare for myself. And I'm here to tell you that's normal, and we validate you. And this is common when we talk about why it's important to establish strong connections with team. But this is important whether you're in person or you're virtual. And we have a virtual team at Tap the Potential. But regardless of the industry and regardless of whether you're hybrid or in office, we find that establishing more opportunities for connecting with your A players undoubtedly is going to help you succeed and help them to succeed as well. It's typically a 15-minute conversation and you're asking, what's going really well for you this week? What seems to be getting in your way? Where are you stuck? And how can I support you better? And what you find is when you dig deep, at first, those 15-minute conversations could be very surface level. Oh, things are going really well. Nothing's really getting in my way. Or how can you support me better? I'm not sure. But as you practice this as a habit and as something that you put structure around, it could be bi-weekly or more or less, once per month even to get started, you'll start to notice that the barriers of communication really come down. The things that really get in our ways, for an A player, it could look different. You could come from your own workplace trauma, which I see a lot with the A players that we work with and with the business owners who come into How to Hire the Best. You've got business owners who have hiring PTSD. That's a thing. We should coin it and put it in the TV at this point. And then you've got A players who have experienced a lot of workplace trauma. And so the more that you practice this as it's a skill, the more your A player starts to open up and the more that you have an opportunity to show up and support them in a way that honors and serves them. Another thing that you had mentioned that really resonated with me was around mindset. And a lot of times when business owners come into How to Hire the Best, there are so many things that they are like a fire hose just putting out in the business. And they recognize I have these awesome A players and they're experiencing all of this with me too. And I don't know what to do, right? And I say, well, have you been vulnerable? Have you been transparent? Have you been showing them and role modeling for them that it's okay to not always have the answer? It's okay to need to get a little bit more curious and dig a little bit deeper. And again, find that connection and community so that you're working towards the same goal together. Weaving that in is one small, simple action that you can take even before you do any check-ins so that you can start normalizing what it's like to be a business owner. I remember this one time, Dr. Sabrina and I were talking and we were going back and forth around a sales question that I had. And she said, Caitlin, I think you need to ask yourself these questions. Like, you're in the weeds. You're the one doing this. And I'm at this point where I'm ready for you to come and to ask and help navigate. And for me, that really normalized this coaching culture that we have at Tap the Potential and how we dig in deep to find solutions to the problems that we're facing and that we're all doing it together. And it's not this big, scary thing. And we don't need to be in the judger pit for it either. We can ask ourselves the right questions to really see it through. Those are a couple of habits that I would say if you instill right now or find ways to start role modeling, exampling for your team, and then bringing in communication. Those are two small things that you can do that really start to change the game in your business.
Yeah, and a lot of those fires are going to be put out as you're meeting with your team members one-to-one.
Yes.
You're jumping ahead and you're being proactive and you're supporting that team member and getting them unstuck. So one thing to be mindful of is most team members are not accustomed to meeting with the business owner one-to-one, and it's going to feel like they're going into the principal's office. And they likely have some trauma as well. So it's a new thing to establish with them. Just trust us when we say give it a chance, because it will really change your company culture, and it will support you in growing your team members, and it will keep your team members in for the long haul. And once you begin having these meetings, they may start out pretty frequently, but as your A players grow and evolve, you're not going to meet with them as frequently. And of course, you don't have to figure this out alone. If you're hearing us and you're thinking, what the heck is a one-to-one meeting, and what's involved, and how do I do that, and what if I get stuck, and how am I going to even fit that into my calendar? Just stop. Go to tapthepotential.com and book a call with Caitlin, and she'll help you sort through what the best next step is for you, because really you don't need to be doing this alone. And one thing that's coming up for me is investing in coaching with us with the Better Business, Better Life program. It's really, truly an investment. If you're spinning your wheels and you're running through team members and you're constantly rehiring for roles and hiring the wrong people, you're throwing money down the drain. Why not invest that into discovering the solution to bringing on the right A players, and you're going to end up seeing a massive return on your investment. And along those lines, Dr. Sabrina, can you just elaborate on that a little bit? What kind of results have you seen over the years?
Oh my gosh, the results that our clients are getting. We've had clients who are doubling their owner's pay in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time. We've seen clients who are experiencing time off, and it's just incredible. So if you think about it, a business owner who's working nonstop, constantly thinking about the business, we're teaching you from the get-go to put limits in place so you end your work at a set time each day. And that means you're fully unplugging at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock each day. So that's an immediate refresh. But then we're teaching you to take your weekends back. So more time off. And then we're showing you how to start vacation testing your business. And so going from never taking any time off to a full week fully unplugged, and then 2 weeks fully unplugged, then going out of the country for a few weeks at a time, fully unplugged, and doing this in the first year. It's incredible. Coupled with increases in owner's pay, like a 55% increase in owner's pay is the average result our client is getting in the first year with us. So paychecks going, you're paying yourself more, you've got more time off, and the profit is exponentially increasing for our clients. And so that's creating a safety net, a buffer in the business. When cash flow ebbs and flows, you have profit there, and you're not having to go to your line of credit or use a credit card or all the crazy tricks we business owners have for managing cash flow. So that peace of mind, my gosh, it's so, so valuable.
Yeah. I just want to say how much I appreciate you both for coming on and talking about this, because, some business owners are at a place in their business where they can't fall asleep Sunday night because they're worried about how they're going to make payroll or who's not going to show up for work this week. I remember even being at that point where I would just have panic attacks every Sunday thinking, okay, how many team members are going to call out, right? And some business owners are really at a place where they have really strong team members and believe they're A players, but aren't sure how to further support their A players to become more like thinking partners and own their roles. And I just want to assure you that we work together as a team. We support you through that, and you can absolutely get here. So this dynamic that you're hearing on the Profit by Design podcast, when you're in our Better Business, Better Life program, you get a front seat to that. And we really are supporting you to build this out. So if you're tuning in and you are really wanting to build your leadership skills and retain those A players. Take that time off, pay yourself more, and really build a legacy business. Our clients build legacy businesses. Reach out. Just go to tapthepotential.com and book a call with Caitlin, and she's going to tell you what your first steps are and what she thinks that would really be most impactful for your business at the time. So thank you so much, Caitlin, for coming on today. And thank you, Dr. Sabrina. And we will see you next time on the Profit by Design podcast.